I'm Allison's younger sister, Katie. I've had the wonderful pleasure of being Allison's maid of honor today. This is one of those times when Allison's often extreme attention to detail, desire for precise scheduling, which we're doing very well at, by the way, and need to execute according to a well-devised plan has really worked in my favor. She required very little from me during the planning process. Phil and Allison were so organized for today, and I think they deserve a round of applause for the wonderful event that they planned together. I must also say, does Phil not look absolutely beautiful tonight? Allison thinks that's pretty well too. When Allison asked me to be her maid of honor, well, let's be honest, she never really asked me. She got engaged, I cried, and I immediately said, I'm your maid of honor, right? Ever since the day Phil proposed, I've been thinking about what I would say in my speech. How does one sum up 26 years of memories with their bigger sister? Unfortunately for Allison, the job of sister has been a tougher one for her, being the older one in the relationship. But Allison, I want you to know that although you were probably very frustrated with me at times, you've taught me so much throughout the years, and I would like to share a few of the things I've learned. Number 1, never leave a sister behind. Allison was always a quiet child and often kept her plans to herself. It was not until years later that Allison admitted she had an entire fire escape plan in her nightstand growing up in the event of a house fire. Now my fire escape plan, on the other hand, was, hey Dad, if there's a fire, will you jump through it and save me? He said yes, and I was satisfied. Well, turns out Allison also had my back. In her map was a very clear instruction to run to my room and pick me up before exiting out the window to escape. I am forever sorry that my fire escape plan did not include you. But I know that Mom or Dad would have jumped through fire for both of us. Number 2, block parents are always the smarter choice. When Allison and I were 5 and 7, our Nana Jameson dropped us at school on a very cold and snowy day. When we got to school, the doors were locked and nobody else was there. Turns out it was a snow day. In usual fashion, I panicked, and Allison kept her cool, and we began our trek home in waist-deep slush. On our way home, Allison was smart enough to realize that a house on our route was a block parent. I was far too afraid to go to a home I didn't know, and made Allison keep on trekking, holding my hand and pulling me along through the slush, ice, and wind. Of course, we arrived at home, and Nana was nowhere to be found, because she had also gone to the senior center, where she discovered it was a snow day. We went to the neighbor's house, and little did I know that my Nana still had no idea where we were and was having a panic attack of her own. To this day, Allison points out that if we had gone to that block parent's home, everything would have worked out sooner, and drier, and warmer. Okay, you were right, but thank you for always doing what made me most comfortable. Number 3, you will survive if you sleep in your own bed. Anytime our parents were out and we had a babysitter, without fail, I would ask Allison if I could sleep with her. I knew she hated it and never wanted me there, but my fear of being alone outweighed the fact that I knew I was bothering her, and she always said yes. It was not until years later that I realized all you did to accommodate my silliness as a child. Even though you're only 2 years older than I am, I always knew I could look up to you, and to this day, I do. When you met Phil, I saw a change in you. Every smile you gave was brighter, every conversation we had was deeper, and I know that my hugs are often very aggressive. But I do feel that since Phil, you've accepted them a little more willingly. Allison was already an amazing person, but Phil brought everything to the next level. And with that said, I would like to welcome Phil to the family. I guess this is probably a good time to let you know the Graves family has a very strict no returns policy. Sorry about that. Phil, growing up, I always wanted an older brother, and I realize now that the saying, be careful what you wish for, is also true. But in all seriousness, seriousness, I am so proud to call you my brother. When Allison told me that her new boyfriend's name was Phil, I immediately commented that if they had children one day, my kids would obviously get to call him Uncle Phil. And of course, that would make Allison Aunt Vivian. This Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reference has been brought up many times since, and in honor of this, I've prepared a small musical number for the both of you. Story all about Al and how she met her new life pal. I'd like to take a minute and just sit right there. You'll see how Polish power just became my new big friend. In North Oakville, we both were raised. In the classroom is where she spent most of her days. Chilling out, reading and following rules, playing volleyball outside of school. She focused on studies and got into Queens. She checked all the boxes in her late teens. But something was missing and she wasn't paired, so she went online and found a guy who cared. He searched for a ring, and when it came clear, he put it on her finger and had no fear. If anything, I could say that this love is her, and I thought, yes, he's Polish, pierogies to spare. Looked at my big sis, she was finally there. Best day of their lives, and cheers to the pair. Allison and Phil, I love you both and could not be happier for you today. I can't wait for your future as a family and wish you a lifetime of happiness, health, pierogies for me. Can everybody please raise a glass to my beautiful sister and her new husband? Great game, Bobby.
Cheers.